Jedi, Rebels, Imperials. Welcome back to brand new Video Mechanics Specialist. Today is the first start to our Star Wars Battlefront 2 week on the channel, and very excited for today's video to be bringing you guys my absolutely needed list of planets and systems that we need in Battlefront 2 to make this game legit and or a prominent sequel to the sort of failure of a game that we call Battlefront, which was this remake. Wasn't really I shouldn't call it a failure. I mean, it is what it is, boys. But yeah. So this game, Battlefront 2, we know is going to be revealed next Friday at Star Wars Celebration in Orlando, Florida, and I have put together a list of what I believe absolutely needs to be in the game as far as map-wise, and with 3 developers working in this game, I can't help but think they should have no problem just compacting this game into a massive fucking shooter. Really, they shouldn't have any issues. So, let's get into it, boys. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and go through a couple honorable mentions real fast, just because they've been in the series quite a bit, and I don't want to exactly... I don't want them in the game, but I wouldn't care if they put them in either. So I'm going to go ahead and say, number one, my first honorable mention is the Outer Rim. And I'm saying this because we already have a DLC for this in this game already, and I don't want, don't think they should redo that. And then the other honorable mention would be Tatooine, because obviously there's a lot of Tatooine in Episode 1 with when Darth Maul starts becoming a douchebag. But yeah, those are my 2 honorable mentions. But we're gonna get to the planets that absolutely need to be in the game. In our number 1, we have the beautiful and luscious. This is the planet of Naboo, that has a bit of an above ground area and a huge underwater ocean. And Naboo is incredibly luscious and beautiful, and we know it is the home to the Queen Padme Amidala and all of those rebel alliances. And eventually this would be taken over by the Separatists, and they'd have to fight back at the end of Phantom Menace to get that back. And yeah, we know that this is the birthplace of Padme Amidala. She was only 14 when she became Queen of Naboo, which is absolutely ridiculous. But this is a very beautiful planet. This would look fantastic on Dice's engine, and I couldn't help but hope maybe they put this in the game, and I'd like to see maybe a campaign mission in there, like it is in the movie where we're basically taking back Naboo from the Separatists. And I'm just excited for this. I think this would be a great map, and I'd like to see the underwater city make some sort of visual, but it's going to be kind of difficult. I mean, then again, there's 3 developers working in this game, so anything is truly possible. And even more crazy, Naboo has been a part of the Republic for over 847 years, which is a long-ass time. So they're definitely seasoned over there on how to fight. But they're more of a democracy. They only really do fight if they absolutely need to. And obviously we see that they do need to, because eventually Naboo gets taken over by the Separatists. And they're forced to fight the Droid Army. But next up we have the mega city of Coruscant, which houses the Galactic Senate building and our very own Jedi Temple. This is basically the home for everything that's important to the Jedi Council and the Republic. Obviously, the Galactic Senate building is where the world leaders around the world, not including the Sith and Separatists, because they don't really communicate with anybody else, but they're assholes. This is basically where all the people from around the world meet, and it's basically the UN of the Star Wars universe. All the world leaders meet together, and they have these sort of communications, and this is also home of our infamous Yoda and Emperor Palpatine fight scene at the end of Revenge of the Sith. And this also, Coruscant is also the home to our lovely Jedi Temple, which we know is the home and the archive of all things Jedi and all things important to the Jedi and all things that the Sith need not know about the Jedi, and as well as all the future Jedi being trained there, which we know Anakin Skywalker has already taken care of, asshole. No, I'm just joking. But anyway, Coruscant it just needs to be in the game. I'd like to see a map in the Jedi Temple itself, and it'd be pretty awesome. And obviously, we know this is also the area of Rex's Diner, the guy who helps Obi-Wan figure out who had the poison dart in the Clone Wars, and as well as just so many megastructure levels. There are 5,217 megastructure levels at Coruscant, which is ridiculous. Like, this place is just massive in terms of housing and development. And but yeah, Coruscant is a good building. I hope they need to do their best and make it not look like Bespin, because I know there's some similarities there as far as Cloud City wise, but I feel like they can pull it off no problem. And then moving on here, we have the disgusting cockroach infested, disgusting animal infested Geonosis, the site of the major battle droid factory, and the first main battle of the Clone Wars in episode 2. And we know that the Separatists did not want the Jedi to know about this factory, because obviously it's kind of similar to Camino in a way that they were secretly building an army to fight the Jedi, and this droid factory was manufacturing an army of droids to fight the Jedi without having to, you know, hopefully lose too many of human troops. But we know that the age of human troops over with the technology of having droids and clone armies, there's no purpose in having, you know, actual men fight when they could just do this. But that's all I have for Geonosis, really. Oh, that's right. It's also one of the major areas for Count Dooku to hide out. And obviously we know the Jedi were not supposed to know about Geonosis, but they did find out when they assaulted it in the Clone Wars. And yeah, you also I'd like to see maybe a map near that big giant dome where you have the three guys, Obi-Wan, Padme, and Anakin. They're all like sort of hooked together on those those pillars, and they have the monsters come out and try to kill them. Sort of that. And moving on here though, and I do apologize for the gameplay being over with, but it is what it is here. Moving on here to my next thing. I got the sunken city of the Utapau system. Cities are built below the surface to avoid the surface's deadly hyper winds, but basically the winds on the surface of this planet are so severe that they have to avoid them. And they ultimately have to live underground because, like I said, the stuff is so severe on top that it would absolutely kill them. And moving on here, this was obviously featured in episode 3 when Obi-Wan brought a bunch of rebels with him to launch an attack on the Utapau system, because we knew that General Grievous and a bunch of separatists were holding out down there below, and obviously this would be the fall of General Grievous. And so our next planet here on the list, we got the lovely, always raining and sort of depressing looking planet, the water planet of Camino, home for the great scientists who manufactured the clone army for the Republic, as well as the home for bounty hunter Jango Fett, which, by the way, Jango Fett's sort of facial features and or genes were used to clone the army, which is ironic because obviously we know Jango Fett is not a good guy. He is the late father of Boba Fett, who would take after his father's place. But Camino is the home to our lovely clone army manufactured for the Republic to take on the Sith, and we see this in episode 2 also, when Obi-Wan heads over to Camino to just oversee preparations for the clone army and just talk to the natives who live there, and also spy on Boba Fett, or Jango Fett, my apologies, spy on Jango Fett, and this would ultimately begin that little space battle that we see after that when they leave. And yeah, but there was 100% water on the surface of Camino, which is absolutely ridiculous. But last but not least here, we got two more areas. No, sorry, one more area. This is the infamous episode 3, one of the greatest scenes in the entire movie, but I'm talking about the Mustafar system. Now, I'm a little bit skeptical about this because obviously we know that Mustafar is a lava-engrossed planet, kind of like Sullust is, and I was afraid about mentioning this because I didn't want Sullust to be a template for this map. I was kind of hoping that Mustafar could be its own thing. It needs to be a lot more ridiculously like lava in case it needs to be like just red skies, because Sullust was lava, but you couldn't almost really tell. I mean, Sullust is just kind of different. But Mustafar needs to be in there, no doubt. And obviously we know that's the area from his battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Anakin was sent there by Emperor Palpatine to take out the Separatists. I was kind of scared mentioning that just because Sullust is in Battlefront 1 and I didn't want those maps to be similar, but obviously, you know, Mustafar is a lot more lava engrossed than Sullust, so it's very important that they get that right on the game. But yeah, and obviously this is a very separatist stronghold because Palpatine sent Vader to go after the Separatists to basically take them out because he wants them gone, and you know they don't entirely agree with Palpatine and everything, and it's important that they get taken out. And then yeah, this is basically the downfall of the Jedi starts with this place, and everything and/or Sith had begun in this area, and it's sort of kind of unfortunate, really, for those who like the Jedi, but it is what it is, though. But that's all I have for today's video, guys. Stay tuned tomorrow as I go through my potential heroes and/or everything that I would like to see from the heroes in the game. That is a lot more controversial than the planets, because we know that it seemed a lot of people go to seeing that in the first Battlefront game, it seemed like DICE had just avoided all the heroes in this game, and they just sort of gave us all the shit ones. But I don't think that's the case, though. But yeah, just stay tuned. Stay tuned tomorrow for everything that I would like to see in the game as far as hero-wise and villain-wise. And yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and have a great day. See y'all later.